Good morning. We're in Commerce, Oklahoma. We're at the Hitching Post, a big, huge flea market here in Commerce, run by the proprietor here, Dave Mason. Dave's dad, Gene Mason, had Mason's Phillips 66 in Weir, Kansas. That's that station that's most of us know as being right there at Simone's. Simone's ran it as a gas station for years. But
well, that was on down the block. So Dad had the post office right across from the post office. Dad had the gas station right across from the post office. And it was.
Oh, he didn't have the one next to the.
Well, that's what I'm getting ready to tell you. He owned every gas station in Weir except for Troutman's. And that's how I acquired Troutman's. I wanted to buy that gas station because that was the only one Dad didn't have. Dad started out at Lucky's, which Larry knows, Lucky's gas station, when he was just right out of the service. He was 19 years old.
Now, where was Lucky's?
Lucky's was right across from Simone's grocery store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one that's still there then, but with the pumps.
Well, that's a completely new building. The building Dad was in was torn down. It was right next to the Blue Eagle. They call it the Blue Eagle. And Mom and Dad lived above the Blue Eagle. And Dad bartended at the Blue Eagle. And then he had the gas station right next to the Blue Eagle. So, but Dad had, he owned a lot of things in Weir. He had the gas station, he had the laundromat, he had the hardware store, he had the trailer park. Dad was an entrepreneur for sure. And
well, it looked like you took after it.
Well, Weir's been good to my folks, my mom and dad, and Weir was very, very good for me. It was where I grew up, and I started mowing grass in Weir when I was summer of my 4th grade year, and we used to go down to Jackson Sanitary Grocery and drink some pop down there next to had that great big old coal stove in there. Everybody would be around talking, all the folks there from Weir. And
now mostly what I hear about old man Jackson was that he was strict with the kids. But now you're telling me another side of him, that they had a coal stove in there and people gathered there to talk.
It was Jackson Sanitary Grocery was a gathering spot for sure. Even in the summertime, you'd still gather around the old coal stove. Mm-hmm. I went in there one day, of course, you know, being white, everybody was black in the grocery store back then, and they'd be like, well, what's he doing in here? But I became friends with a lot of with all of them actually, and got to where I started mowing their grass. Well, before you knew it, I was mowing all of their grass. You know, you'd mow one, and then the next person they'd call and say, hey, I've got the Mason kid, he's mowing grass, he does a good job. And before it was all over, I had 57 yards and 4 cemeteries right there in Weir, Kansas.
Full going business there, and you're still in grade school or in high school?
Me, I had to hire my partner, Danny Thompson, 6th grade, to help me because we got our mowing business so big. And we mowed grass all through to graduation at senior. Danny still mows the cemeteries today. So, and Danny will be 65 years old. So he's still mowing the cemeteries. But anyway, Weir was a great, great place to grow up. And Larry can tell you, we used to have, when I was a kid, there used to be 1, 2, 3 grocery stores in Weir. You'll remember, Larry, Lillian Coles? Yep. That used to be right across from my mom and dad. And it was, where was it?
Well, Lillian Cole, oh, so Mason, so you lived across from Jerry Simone or Jackie?
I lived across from Jackie.
Yeah, that's out there by Bill Fowler.
Bill Fowler was
He was up on the road, and you were east of him.
Yep.
Across that road there.
Mom and Dad built that house brand new in 1967.
And still there, nice brick home.
Beautiful home, beautiful home.
Brian Craddock had it for a while.
Yep. Brian lived there. 4,000 square foot home. Dad paid $24,000 for that home, brand spanking new. Yep. And Bobby Martin there in Weir built it, and Sam, what was Sam's last name? He was his partner. They were in business together, and they built that house for
all
Dad.
this is great to me. I haven't heard any of this.
Yeah.
I really, what got me to come and find you and talk to you is the Texaco.
Yep.
You know, the Texaco station there in the middle of town.
Yep.
What do you tell us about that?
Well, when I was a kid, we used to, drag the town all the time in our race cars and on our motorcycles. That right there where the Troutman station was, there was a railroad track that went through there. So
you could still see the bed for a long time. I can't even know the used to be able to.
Well, back in the 70s, you had your cars. They were jacked up in the back. You had your air shocks on. Everybody put air shocks on back then. You have your back of your car jacked up, and they rode hard. So you would have to stop and go over those tracks in Weir, because those tracks were rougher than a cob. I mean, they were rough. So every time I'd go over those tracks, I'd look over there at that gas station, and I'd think, man, oh man, that is so cool. I mean, it was just cool back then. Even when I was, 16 years old, that gas station was just cool the way it looked.
It's that classic Route 66 look.
It definitely does. It definitely does. And I always liked that gas station. And I thought, boy, it'd be cool someday to actually own that gas station. Years went by, and of course I got married and started a family. And one day I went through town, and sure enough, there was a bulldozer getting backed off of a trailer right there on the east side of the building, of the A-frame building. And I turned around and went back, and I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to bulldoze the place down. And the lights were still out there and everything that's on the pump island. And I thought, my gosh, I just can't see that happening. So I went and talked to the owner, and they said, yeah, they were gonna doze the buildings down. And I thought, well, I just can't let that happen. So I made them an offer, and they took my offer. And
what'd you do now? You got a phone number from the guy on the dozer or something and called somebody, or what?
I just asked the guy who he was doing it for, and of course I knew who they were, and I just went and talked to them. I knocked on their door and told them I didn't want to lose the old gas station, and we made a deal that day. Shook hands on it. I went to the bank, got the money, and so we saved that gas station. When I bought it, it was in very, 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 very bad shape. The pigeons would fly right through the roof of the building, and it was in desperate needs of
Now, I've never seen
saving.
a pigeon in Weir. We have crows, but were there pigeons in Weir?
There were pigeons in Weir, and when I roofed that building, both of those buildings, I did that by hand, and I could only take 2 shingles up that steep roof at a time. And by the time I got to that ridge up there, those pigeons would be up there watching me on that ridge of that building. And that building doesn't look very tall. That's a tall building in Weir, believe me. But yeah, so I fixed it up. I went out and I took it down to bare concrete. It used to be a Sovereign service station. Got up in the attic and found a lot of the literature up there. It was built in 1936, Sovereign service. That was an early oil company.
What did you say about their colors?
Their colors were pea green and yellow. So that was what I found when I took off all the coats of paint that was on it. And I primered it up, and when I got all done with it, it took a couple years to actually restore the building. By the time, because I had to go out and find gas pumps, I went out and had to find signs, I had to buy a lot of things for it. But when we got it all said and done, it turned out really, really nice.
Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for doing that, and thank you on behalf of all of the people of Weir. It's been a joy to so many people. We love it. We love that building.
There's been many people thank me for that, and I do appreciate that. And I'll always love Weir because that's where I grew up. But it was the right thing to do. I'm glad I did it, and it's been really something special for Weir. If you go out on the web and type in Texaco gas station, Weir, Kansas, you cannot believe what comes up. It's amazing of the pictures that are out there of my gas station.
Well, it is the cover photo for our website, our Facebook page.
Okay, I didn't
that
know
is
that.
Weir City, Kansas History.
Yep.
Facebook page.
Yep.
And that's our cover photo. And every once in a while, somebody will just see that and write a comment at the top there about something about the station. And
Yeah,
and they all remember Troutman and remember what a
Charlie
fine.
Troutman was a great guy. You know, I mean, he before he passed away, he used to walk out all the way out to my house on Coe Valley Road, believe it or not, and he would make that walk about 5 times a week. And I'd always stop and talk to him, you know, about the gas station and all of the years that he ran it. And very nice, interesting man. Charlie was a great guy.
All the kids remember him, and the candy and the pop
and the candy and the pop, just like, you know, my dad at his gas station. They all had candy and pop for the kids, you know. Mm-hmm. So it was a good thing. Weir, Kansas was a great place to grow up. It really, truly was. It was amazing. We had a lot of fun. We had the Black Hills where we used to race motorcycles, and we had the big dumps on the east of town coming in where we used to ride those dumps. And it was
that you're talking about where the brickyard used to be on Main Street, or further out?
East of town, right when you was coming into Weir on the right hand side, there used to be nothing but great big old coal dumps in there.
Oh, okay.
And it used to be a great place to ride motorcycles. And then the Black Hills was it was behind where the trash dump used to be.
Okay.
There used to be a trash dump right behind my gas station, back past the water plant. That used to be where we would all go to ride our motorcycles, race our motorcycles. So Weir was a great place. But yep, I'm glad we've got the gas station, and it's been on T-shirts, it's been on calendars, it's been on TV. I don't know how many times. It was in the Kansas City paper several times in Kansas City, believe it or not. So people have taken it and ran with it. There's magnets. One time, it was a funny story. I'm a collector, a big collector, and I was down, where was I? I was way down in Arkansas, and I went into a flea market, and one of the booths in the flea market was nothing but pictures of my gas station. that was something that I went in there, and yeah, that's my gas station right there. A birdhouse gas station, but a guy made that for me, and that looks just like my gas station.
Well, I'll put a picture of that on the in the post, probably down in the comments. I'll leave a picture of this birdhouse. They're very nice. Thank you, Dave. I know we could go on for a lot longer, and we will. We'll do this again. We'll do this again.
But
we've got about
It's all good. We gotta save the things that not going to be here tomorrow if these kids aren't even going to know what's going on. So we gotta tell them.
Well, Weir's a special place, and a lot of it's because so many people used to live there, and there are people all over
yeah.
the country
Yep.
who know Weir City, Kansas, because
Exactly.
their parents and grandparents lived there, and
Yep.
so we're trying to preserve a bit of that history so they know where they came from.
I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks
Thank
for your
you.
time. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.